Assassin's Creed Origins is absolutely massive. It's set in an ancient Egyptian sandbox that's the series' biggest world to date. And as you can imagine, it's jam-packed full of things to do. Did they even have jam back then? I don't know. Anyway, we're here to tell you what activities, areas, and animals deserve your attention in the first few hours. From hunting down man-killing vultures to getting great outfits to going chariot racing. As they often said in Egypt back then, let's do this. Did you know you can time travel in Origins? Unlock the Dawn and Dusk ability in the skill tree and you can make time speed rapidly forward like a clock flung through a window. To do this, hold the back button. I say time travel, it's basically you sitting down wherever you are and staying there for 12 hours. So in a sense, we all have the power of time travel. Just be really lazy. The Dawn and Dusk ability changes day to night and night to day. I prefer playing in the day because the lighting in this game is incredible, and not just because I'm deathly afraid of the dark and have to sleep with a little nightlight on. But there's more to this time travel feature than visuals. See, the time of the day affects the gameplay. If you're approaching a camp and don't fancy the enemy placements, fast forward and everyone will have changed position. It makes sense. They're not going to stay in one spot for 24 hours, right? It's handy if you need to assassinate a captain who surrounded himself with bodyguards like a little scaredy cat who, values his life. I'm going to teach him a lesson for that by killing him. Some missions are built around the fast forwarding of time. In this mission, after investigating a market trader selling knockoff mummies, I have to wait until dark, then meet him on the outskirts of town. I know how this works. It's not my first time meeting strangers on the outskirts of town. The black market is where I get my rarest achievements. Speaking of markets, Bayek has loads of choices when it comes to clothing, and just because fashion hasn't been invented yet doesn't mean he can't look fierce in whatever mad getup you select. Enter the gear menu and then you can equip outfits in your inventory. Now, the default outfit is fine, and you can toggle the hood on and off with Y, but I'm looking for something a little bolder. I'm an assassin who likes to stand out, which makes me a pretty awful assassin, but damn it, I'm a stylish one. Merchants sell outfits. You can find them on the map indicated by a sewing icon. What's great is that merchants in different regions have different wares. In the first area, you can pick up a fetching fur ensemble. Meanwhile, in Alexandria, merchants sell this Masai warrior getup. The fabric is very breathable, and I can really see this look taking off. The best thing is they're self-cleaning. Get covered in blood, oil, smoke, or dirty Nile water, and it'll stay on your clothes for a bit, which by itself is very cool, but it'll totally wash off in about 15 seconds. Magic. Who needs bold 2-in-1 washing machine tablets? Not I. And just a cool little thing about shopping whilst we're here, hold down on the D-pad whilst in the shop menu and you'll automatically sell all the useless items that only exist to be sold. No more selecting and selling each individual trinket. That's all the more time to spend on trawling the stalls. So go on, treat Egypt as your sprawling, sandy, hippo-infested catwalk. All hail the Vulture King, our mighty feathery overlord. Or instead of bowing down to him, you can go and find him and kill him for some sweet old experience points. Across the world of Origins, you'll find groups of animals which will have a leader of the pack. You can usually tell who this is by the fact they look like the rest of the animals, except they're on steroids. If you're finding it hard to work out who's who, just get Senu involved and he'll be able to point out who's the kingpin of the lot. Here's a great example of it, a pack of vultures in the beginning section of the map you start out on. Also, side note, did you know a group of vultures is called a wake or a committee? Every day's a school day with Xbox on. Once I found my wake of birds with bald heads, I got Senu to track down the leader and gave it a good old-fashioned smackdown. Turns out eagles don't like receiving a good old-fashioned smackdown for some reason, and it took a few predator arrows, old-fashioned sword swiping, and some normal arrows in its big bald head to finally be crowned the leader of the vultures. I mean, that's how it works, right? You kill the leader and then become the leader? Being head of a committee never felt so good. Whilst Assassin's Creed Origins may differ slightly from games like Grand Theft Auto 5, there's still an element of good old-fashioned criminal behaviour. So whereas in Grand Theft Auto you can go up to someone in a car, point a gun in their face before nicking their car and riding off into the sunset, Assassin's Creed Origins is all about joyriding a boat. So there's plenty of lovely luscious water to get around in, but swimming can be a slow and time-consuming affair. You know what isn't a time-consuming affair? Stealing someone's precious mode of transportation. It all feels kind of horrible though, as when you nick the boat, they'll just go and sit in the corner and wait for you to finish what you're doing. It even says borrow when you go to hijack it. It's definitely a more classy affair than GTA, but I wanted to still feel like I was in Los Santos, so I made sure to ram into other boats to get a real authentic experience. I even rammed into the equivalents of the police and got into a big fight, and then murdered him. So much blood everywhere. In fact, the more I think about it, the more Origins is actually quite similar to GTA. Trevor is the next assassin, anyone? The photo mode in Origins really puts the Bay in Bayek. Well, it's Bayek, but, you know, for the sake of that pun. Look at those dreamy eyes. At any point in the game, you can click both thumbsticks in to pause time and enter photo mode. The triggers zoom in and you can apply focus by clicking the left thumbstick. From here, you can go up or down on the left stick to choose how much focus you want, then press A to take the shot. I like the subtle blur. Ooh, arty. You can add filters too. Let's go with the black and white one because it's more historically accurate. Cameras back then didn't have colour, of course. What I like doing is summoning Bayek's eagle Senu, then taking a picture of her majestic feathered form. Only Attenborough himself could get closer. I guess you also have a pretty good vantage point on the landscape from up here, but anyway, back to Senu! Isn't she just gorgeous? All the photos are saved in the game. To see them, click the back button, then up on the D-pad. See those little blue squares? Each one is a picture you've taken, and its position on the map relates to where in the game you took it. You can even see other people's photos. Side missions have always been a huge part of the Assassin's Creed series. In Origins, you'll need to get involved with them, as the main story missions will require you to be a certain level if you want any chance of completing it without taking a sword to your vital organs. Side missions allow you to collect experience, level up, and be an all-around stronger assassin badass. One of my favourite things to do is head to an enemy camp and go on a cheeky little killing spree. You'll have objectives as to what needs to be done, usually along the lines of killing the captain and collecting a certain amount of precious loot. To really ace these sections, you'll want to be stealthy as can be, as when guards are notified of your presence, they'll go and light a big old fire to get reinforcements in. Not what you want. My tip, go under the cover of darkness. Most guards will be sleeping away, so much so in fact that I almost stepped on all of these guys as I couldn't see they were there. Just do a silent takedown and bam! Before you know it, you'll have taken down most of your competition. Experience is always a useful thing to get, plus the loot usually holds something pretty cool in it, like weapons and hard to find armour. A win-win situation all around. The Nomad's Bazaar is run by a little chap named Lydia. He sells some of the rarest stuff in the game and his stock changes weekly. At the moment he's got some carbon crystals, which are legendary crafting material, and a Heka chest, which is basically like a loot box containing a random weapon or shield, but one you buy with in-game currency, which makes the Heka chest hecka good. Go to the green camel icon on the map and talk to Lydia, and he'll give you a new quest to do every day. Succeed and you'll be greatly rewarded. For this quest I have to recover some of his missing merchandise. I do it with no trouble. Okay, a little trouble. And when I returned to Lydia, he gave me 500 XP and a rare warrior bow. Thanks man, but like, how do you make a profit giving away stuff? That's not how business works. You've got a lot to learn. Actually, on second thoughts, just keep giving me stuff, it's fine, it's totally fine. One thing, these missions have a time limit. Don't do them in time and the mission disappears. Fortunately, you can repeat them as much as you like, which is great for me, because I plan on dying repeatedly in this game. With her last dying breath, Squid Gaming looked up at the sky, shook her fist and whispered, "Avenge me." At least that's what would happen if I ever died in Assassin's Creed, which I obviously don't do because my skills are frankly terrifying. So what's with all this talk of avenging? Well, in Origins there's this nifty new feature which allows you to get revenge for a fallen friend. How it works is this: you'll see on the map that there's an opportunity to avenge a murdered friend, and being the kind souls that we are who also want the glory of having done a cool avenging murder, we jump at the chance to help out. When you examine the body of your friend, you'll be given the info on who's killed them. You're then given the task of tracking the murderers down before serving up a tasty slice of revenge pie. Of course, you'll be rewarded with some sweet old experience points, but even better, you'll get that sense of satisfaction that only justice can bring. I mean, you're basically Batman, except with a lot more blood and murder and guts everywhere. Alright, I never said we were perfect. So there you have it. Hopefully with our guide you won't be at a loss for what to do in the gigantic expanse of Ubisoft's Epic. Enjoy what you just saw? Leave a like on the video and drop a comment if you're feeling particularly commenty, and subscribe to Xbox One for more on Assassin's Creed Origins very soon. I'll see you next time. Bye!